And it is time once again
for the Horror Guys.
The Horror Guys, yes.
Episode 259. We're going to kind of close out 2023 with some new 2023 movies.
We technically have an episode next week.
Yeah.
I think it comes out on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, technically.
I think we're mostly going to get some old movies next week.
Wrapping up the year. And yeah, there's some good ones that we needed to include.
And sometime early next month, we will do our Best of 2023 episode, which we did last year, where we decide all the movies that released in 2023. Were they good? Were they bad? Were they something else?
We need to pick our favorites for the year pretty soon.
Which is hard to do when there's like 100 movies.
Yeah, and it's been a while since you've seen some of them.
Like a year for some.
When you see a title and think, oh, what was that one about?
Yeah.
Sometimes when there's that many movies. And then you remember some of them. Like, oh, yeah, that one was awesome.
Well, we are recording this on Christmas Eve, and the podcast will launch on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, if you go over to Amazon.com, you can buy Amazon gift certificates. Give them to somebody tonight or tomorrow, and they can buy Horror Guys Guide books to put on their Kindle first thing in the morning. Oh, it's not too late.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Or even if you're not into Christmas, buy them anyway, because they're good.
Yeah, they are.
They're fun.
Yeah.
We got Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, Roger Corman,
and some
Peter Cushing.
Short horror fiction collections.
Tales to Make You Shiver, Volume 1.
And Volume 2.
And Volume 2. And we've been promising Volume 3 for like 6 years.
Someday.
We procrastinate those. All right, well, we're supposed to be talking about movies today. What do we got?
Oh, we got Totally Killer and Megalomaniac and Perpetrator and Summoning Sylvia. Those are all 2023s, right?
All new movies this year, yes.
And The Breach, which was actually kind of a last year movie, wasn't it? But just released this year? There was something odd on the releasing of that one.
I don't remember. I guess we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I don't have the listing, the date here.
And then a couple classic-ish ones that we're not going to fully discuss, but they'll be on the website. Macabre and Saw 2.
I saw Saw 2. Did you see Saw 2?
I saw Saw 2.
I saw Saw
2. Oh,
wow.
My.
Yeah, so anyway, if you want to hear about Macabre and from 1958 and Saw 2 from 2005, you just pop on over to horrorbulletin.com and read them there. While you're there, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and you'll get all our reviews in your email box. Just one big email every week.
Mm-hmm.
No spam, no nothing.
So we got fun movies. We got half and half on the fun and the not fun. The grim and the fun. Totally Killer is a fun kind of retro time travel thing. Megalomaniac is a pretty grim serial killer movie. Perpetrator is pretty serious, witchcraft kind of psychic superhero thing. And Summoning Sylvia, which was downright silly.
And I will say right off the bat, I liked all of them.
Including The Breach.
Oh, I keep forgetting the breach counts.
We snuck that one in there.
Yeah, well, normally we have 4 movies and a short.
We're
this
doing
week,
5 movies.
Yeah, we wanted to fit in all 5 of these this week, so we didn't do a short. So the breach counts. I didn't like the breach.
Our opinions are split on the breach.
They shouldn't be.
I liked the breach, and Brian did not like the breach.
No, I did not like the breach very, very much.
Yeah.
But you did. But first, we're going to start off with
Totally Killer from 2023.
Directed by Nacha Khan. Didn't she sing in the 80s?
Yeah.
Nacha Khan?
Yeah, partner of Chaka Khan.
Yeah. Written by David Madelon, Sasha Pearl Raver, and Jen D'Angelo. Stars Kieran Shipka, Olivia Holt, Charlie Gillespie, and Lachlan Monroe. Lachlan.
Think he might be Scottish?
In there. I like that. Hour and 46 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. Spoiler free, what happens?
Well, this was a nice mix of fun and grim horror. It's got a lot of humor, and it's got a decent body count. It's a time-traveling adventure, with our heroes dealing with a masked serial killer who seems to exist both in 2023 and 1987. Kind of think of Back to the Future with horror elements. And we thought it was really well done, and we really liked it.
Yeah, if you thought Back to the Future needed more death, that'd be this one.
Yeah, And they even mention Back to the Future.
They do, yeah, they hang a hat on it. Well, it's Halloween. I guess we should not spoil all of these.
No, we shouldn't.
We'll stop partway through and
We'll just give you a little taste.
Yeah. It's Halloween 2023, and we're told that 35 years ago, 3 girls were found butchered on their 16th birthdays. The Sweet 16 killer then just vanished. The murderer wore a mask that is still considered iconic in the small town where it happened. Sort of like those Michael Myers masks in the Halloween movies.
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Uh-huh.
We cut to Jamie, a teenager who argues with her mother Pam about their taste in music. Her mother went to school with all the murdered girls, and she's a bit overprotective, especially since Jamie is about to turn 16. Which, of course, the actress is 24 and not fooling anybody.
Well, we kind of overlooked that, yeah.
Did we, though? We just mentioned it.
Okay.
Jamie meets up with her friend Amelia. Well, the killer then attacks Jamie's mom, who's been preparing for this moment for decades.
And the killer is masked, completely covered, even gloves. Mm-hmm. So you got no idea who it is,
it a man,
what gender.
Is it a woman? We don't know.
Yeah, it's a complete mystery.
It's an intense battle, but she loses badly and dies. Credits roll. Well, okay then.
Yeah, so right off the bat.
35 years this killer has been in hiding.
Uh-huh.
The killer is back. The school coach gives all the teens some ridiculously easy self-defense tips. Don't walk home at night. That's pretty much the extent of it.
Thanks. That's a big help. Yeah.
The police question Amelia about her father. It seems her mother Pam and Chris, the murder podcast guy, might have been having an affair. There's a murder podcast. The guy has a podcast about these murders, one of those true crime things.
True crime, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, the school is having a science fair in the nearby closed-down creepy amusement park. I guess it's not exactly closed down, but it sure looks like it ought to be. Amelia is making a time machine for the science fair, as one does. It doesn't really work, probably because there's not enough Wi-Fi signal. Amelia has the date set for the first of the Sweet 16 killings. She wants to prevent the murders.
But first you got to build the time machine.
Yeah. Jamie's father, Blake, explains that Pam wasn't having an affair. She was working with Chris to find the killer. Chris asked Jamie about a note that her mother got way back in the day. What did it say? You're next or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something along those lines.
That night, the killer chases Jamie through the amusement park. She hides in the non-working time machine, but then the killer stabs the machine with his knife in the control panel, and it worked.
It shorted it out, and blam.
All it needs was a good stabbing.
Now she's in 1987.
And the trashy old theme park is now thriving and packed with people. Jamie gets a ride to school, and everything is all tacky and borderline sexist and racist. Who knew the 80s were so bad?
Yeah.
But
and
they
so
make good points in all these cases.
And so lax on security.
No security anywhere. She just enrolls in school and soon finds the dead girls in her gym class. Nobody at school seems to care one bit. There's no privacy. She then gets involved in deathmatch dodgeball. Worse yet, her mother turns out to be the school bully.
Yeah, there's a group of it's
the
mean girls, and her mother is one of them.
Jamie goes to the police about the upcoming murders, but they don't believe her story.
Surprising no one.
She compares her life to Back to the Future, but the cops haven't seen it yet. Must be the year it came out, because they all know about it. They just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, it did just come out. Yeah.
She goes to talk to Amelia's mother, Lauren, who's still in high school herself. She's seen Back to the Future, and more importantly, she's already given a time machine a lot of thought. Lauren goes with Jamie to check out her broken time machine. Back in the real present, Jamie's father confronts Chris at the amusement park where the police are checking out Jamie's disappearance. Amelia tells them all about the time machine, but of course, no one believes her.
No one believes the kids in this
Nobody ever does.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about time travel and things happen in the future and you're like 16. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to believe that.
Nobody's going to believe you. Yeah.
Especially in the 80s. I mean, they might believe it now. Jamie teams up with Lauren and the younger version of her school principal to get into the party where the murders originally happened. She sees a hunky guy and is shocked to find out he's her dad.
Ew.
In the beginning, he's got this he's big and fat, and he's wearing this muscly T-shirt looking thing with the 6-pack drawn on it. Said, "I used to be hot in my teenage days," and she like rolls her eyes. Sure, Dad.
Yeah, he's not super obese, but he's got a dad bod. He's thick. He's not young and hunky like he
And
used
she's
to
like,
be.
"Who's that hottie?"
Yeah.
Oh
My.
well, Jamie tries to stick with the murdered girls for protection, but they all really hate Jamie because she's weird, and they're the mean girls. And Jamie has Chris's podcast on her phone because you can download podcasts. And she gets the details about the original murders from that, but her battery's running down. The killer approaches Tiffany, who was historically the first victim. She gets it in this timeline too, but not in the right place. Things can be different now.
Yeah, she's already monkeying with the timeline.
Jamie and young Pam find the body.
We should
And
leave it there.
hilarity ensues after that.
It does, yeah, with the past and the future and things getting screwed up and hilarity ensues and more people get killed. And
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a lot of commentary on how the 80s compared to today. Things like smoking in cars, the sexy gym shorts, bad touching, lack of school security, water beds, no political correctness at all, and lots more. Who knew the 80s were so barbaric?
It was rough. It was rough times.
We survived it.
Yeah.
It's a time travel story, so it's all going to be a little bit convoluted, but it's easy to follow and makes sense for the most part. The movie already compares itself to Back to the Future, and if you like that one, you'll probably be into this one as well.
Mm-hmm. It was good fun. Liked it a lot.
I think it might be my favorite of the week.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Next up, we have Megalomaniac, written and directed by Kareem Ulhaj. Stars Aileen Schumacher, Benjamin Ramon, Helene Moore, and Wim Willert. And this is, where was this? Belgium, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hour and 58 minutes. Trailer in the show notes if you haven't seen the trailer for this. Spoiler free, there are heavy themes at work behind the story of two damaged siblings. They inherited a big creepy house and a truckload of emotional baggage from their serial killer father. And we were told, like, right from the beginning, that's no spoiler.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The film is dark, atmospheric, and artsy, with great acting and direction. We give it a strong thumbs up.
Yeah, no.
It's not a lot of fun, though.
Sometimes artsy-fartsy is too fartsy.
This had just the right amount of fartsy.
Yeah, this had a really good balance, I thought. Yeah. Well, we're going to
Not spoil
give you a
it.
little taste, but yeah. Well, we're told that in 1997, 15 garbage bags full of various women's parts were found dismembered. And we cut to a filthy woman running down a road with no pants. The case of the butcher made the headlines. 5 women were found, and in over 20 years of investigating, the butcher was never identified.
You think it was the same guy as in Totally Killer?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
it's not. Yeah. We cut to a very messy, painful-looking birth with the butcher delivering a woman's baby.
And you sort of get the feeling that this woman's not there willingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got her tied down to the table, and
This
it's
was
all kind
a
of
forced
nasty.
pregnancy, forced delivery. A young boy is there to take the crying baby. Credits roll. And then we cut to another man beating a woman unconscious and kidnapping her.
So, comedy, huh?
Yeah, not so much.
No, there's not a lot of funny in this one.
Yeah. Well, Martha works in a factory, and her coworkers aren't very nice people.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah. She goes home to her big, creepy house and bakes a cake while playing on hookup apps.
Is that pound cake by any chance?
It was pound cake, because she puts it on the table and just punches the hell out of it and then stuffs it in her mouth. And yeah. We see a photo on the wall of the butcher and his son, and that was the kid that was being handed the baby. And we quickly realize that
She's the baby.
Baby Martha, and he's, this is years later, and the boy is grown up now. Well, that night, Martha hears a noise downstairs and wakes her brother Felix, the kidnapper we saw earlier. They are the butcher's grown children.
And Felix is clearly taken after his father.
Yeah, he's pretty messed up. The next day, Felix goes to church and follows a woman to stab her to death. And we see him later disposing of garbage bags on the side of the road.
So in Totally Killer, it's one of those whodunits where there's a serial killer and you don't know who it is.
Here we
This
know
one, you
right
know
off the
exactly
bat.
who it is and what they're doing, but yeah, you don't know more than that.
Yeah, And here's poor Martha, who's just trying to live a life, you know. Well, Martha goes downstairs, finds a jet black woman crawling around making cat noises, which is some weirdness, yeah. And you kind of wonder, you know, how much she's hallucinating and how her grip on reality is. Well, she goes to work, suffers more abuse, and gets raped at the hand of her coworkers.
That's a great job.
Yeah. Like 2 of them take her in the bathroom and have their way, and the third coworker just listens and doesn't intervene. So all 3 of them are awful guys. When Felix asks later if something happened, she says, nope, nothing happened today.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. The next day, Martha gets raped yet again, and Felix kills another random woman. Felix reminds Martha that she's not allowed in his room or the other room, but she wants to participate. And he asks, you know, do you want to get locked up? And she says, well, Dad would have let me have one. I mean, this is just a messed up family. There's a news report that the butcher's case is being reopened since new garbage bag women have been found. Well, Mrs. Kanichi, the new caseworker, comes to see Martha. And Martha tells her that her coworkers are really nice. They have an awkward conversation, and caseworker says, yeah, well, I'll be back next month. Felix comes home, and he's brought her a present.
It's a puppy, right?
No. Well, she hallucinates a bunch of black animal people again, and there's a burlap sack with an injured woman inside. It's just what Martha always wanted, a toy of her own. Well, Felix cuts out the woman's tongue as Martha watches, and after that, it's up to Martha to take care of the woman, who she decides to call Julie.
Yeah, and that's a good place to stop.
It is, yeah. So
if this sounds rather intense,
intense,
we're just getting started.
Intense and grim, and yeah, boy, it's something.
It's visually excellent and stylish. The sets, costumes, and locations are all really good. But it is very slow-moving, taking almost an hour before we get to anything particularly interesting. We didn't tell you about the good stuff, but most of what Kevin just read you was like the whole first hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It
definitely focuses on the mental illness side of a serial killer, as both Felix and eventually Martha are seriously messed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird, kind of artsy-fartsy. There are things I can't explain. What were all those black people?
Her hallucinations, like, just tripping out on, weirdness. Yeah.
And overall, we did like it.
Yes. Yeah.
What's next?
Perpetrator, another new one, 2023, which was written and directed by Jennifer Reeder, stars Kia McKiernan, Alicia Silverstone, Christopher Lowell, and Melanie Libbard. And runtime's an hour and 40 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. Spoiler free.
What happens?
Well, this is a coming-of-age story, which is pretty cool, with a girl maturing into powers as she matures into a woman. And unfortunately, things get more complicated for her as young women in town are disappearing. And she runs into some real oddball and possibly dangerous people that are around her. It's pretty uniquely done, and we liked it a lot.
So it's a Marvel superhero movie?
Well, it almost is superhero level power that they have.
Marvel's not really done any good horror.
They should. Yeah.
Werewolf by Night.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, credits roll as we get clips of newspaper reports on missing girls, flashes of serial killer tools, and girls walking home late at night. We get a point of view shot from inside a serial killer's mask as he stalks a victim on the street. We then cut to Evelyn, lying on a table, breathing through a mask. The kidnapper has her on some kind of sleeping gas.
And we don't see who the kidnapper is.
No. Johnny walks down the street, trying all the car doors, but doesn't find any unlocked. She then breaks into a house, and she goes through all the stuff inside and steals some things. She then leaves and gives the stuff to her fence, who doesn't pay enough. He gives her a bloody nose, but the blood she drips on the ground behaves strangely.
Uh-huh. So there's already weirdness going on.
She goes home and gives Gene, her father, the money for rent, and Gene looks in the mirror, and his face starts bubbling and shifting. Oh, okay.
And so at this point, I was wondering, is he a shapeshifter, or what the heck is going on with him?
Kind of looks that way.
Yeah.
Johnny later finds him unconscious on the floor not long after. They both get simultaneous nosebleeds. Jean calls Hildy for help. Johnny is going to be 18 next week, and they both know what that means. Johnny has also been asking about her missing mother, and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, he's starting to feel overwhelmed on raising her.
So Johnny goes to stay with Hildy, and she says Jean just isn't trying anymore.
And what was the relationship? Hildy's a great aunt?
Jean's brother.
Okay.
Sister, I mean.
Sister, okay.
They're brother and sister. She's the aunt.
Okay, aunt. Just aunt.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing
I knew
complicated.
I knew they
And
were
Hildy.
related, though. Yeah.
She gets checked out by the school nurse, who notices a heart condition. It's like she has 2 or 3 hearts.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, the nurse then gets a nosebleed at the same time Johnny gets one. She's got contagious nosebleeds.
Uh-huh.
She then goes into the school and breaks into many student lockers to steal things. She's a little klepto. Back at Hildy's house, Johnny starts to bleed in the bathroom, and things start getting weird. The next day, the principal gives them a talk about personal safety and self-defense. They have a thing called a code massacre, kind of a shooter drill. And it's a little excessive.
Yeah, it was.
The principal comes in a mask and shoots the girls with red paint. Then one student complains, "The last time I got gunned down, I got grounded for a week," says one girl. Johnny offers to hack the principal's records to clear the girls from their deaths. Take it a little seriously there.
Yes, very.
Well, Hildy calls Johnny stupid and selfish and insists that she eat one of the items she stole. So she eats a lipstick. Yum.
Yuck.
Johnny talks to the girl at school about those girls who have gone missing. All of the girls have their own special problems, and we see many posters of missing girls in town. It's finally Johnny's 18th birthday, and Hildy makes her a cake. "I already made a wish for you." The cake seems to be filled with blood, and she pukes it right up. Hildy is weird.
She is, yeah.
And
you're wondering, is she bad or is she
is she
good?
the serial killer? Is she some kind of witch?
Yeah,
She's weird.
She's so weird it makes it uncertain. Yeah.
She runs outside screaming, and it's all very strange as the blood bubbles and boils. Hildy says the cake is an old family recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we should stop there. The rest is giving things away.
Oh, should we? Okay.
It's a very slow starter again. Once it gets going, it's really good. We're never quite sure what's up with Johnny, but her developing things seem interesting as she explores her powers.
Mm-hmm.
We already said it's kind of a superhero, but not in the usual way.
And it runs in the family. There's another hint.
Yeah, I'm still not quite
Yeah.
sure what was going on with the school nurse or why the killer was doing any of this.
Just weird and evil, I think. And Johnny happened to be mixed up in it.
All right.
Crazy people doing crazy things, and there she was. Fortunately for the other girls, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Next
All in
up.
all, it was really good.
Next up,
Yeah.
Summoning Sylvia, 2023. Written and directed by Wesley Taylor and Alex Weiss. Stars Travis Coles, Frankie Troy Iwata, and Noah J. Ricketts. Hour and 14 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. Spoiler free. It's mostly a fun party of a movie with some scarier moments as a group of guys explore a mystery from the past. Is there really the ghost of an evil murdering woman at work here? Gotta watch it to find out. Overall, we thought it was well made and worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
If that description sounds like 1,000 other movies, doesn't it?
It does.
This one is kind of unique.
It is, yeah.
What happens?
Well, a bunch of obviously gay men sit around a seance table and do a spell. They all start screaming, and we cut to 6 hours earlier, as the group brings Larry, blindfolded, to a house for his bachelor party before marrying Jamie. They've rented the place for the whole weekend, and yeah, it's supposed to be haunted. 100 years ago, Sylvia Lawrence went mad and killed her son Philip in cold blood. And then someone executed Sylvia in that very house just a few hours later. Well, Philip's body was never found. Nico says he brought his crystal ball and spell book, and they all want to have a seance. Then credits roll.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, Larry calls Jamie, who didn't even know he was going away for the weekend. Larry, who was supposed to spend the day with Jamie's soldier brother Harrison, tries to leave, but Reggie stops him. Larry suggests that Harrison come and spend the weekend there instead. Well, we cut back to where we started as the 4 guys begin their seance. They stop and sing show tunes. They finally get around to summoning Sylvia, because suddenly they hear banging, and they all freak out. But, oh, that's just Harrison at the door. Harrison's a tough former soldier who's pretty uptight and really, really straight. And the other guys think Reggie hired a stripper, which
Awkward.
is a little awkward at first. Well, the presence of a very straight Harrison puts a damper on the other guys' plans a
These
little
other
bit.
guys are very, very gay.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
very flamboyant, yeah. And we get a glimpse of dead Sylvia watching the group and scolding Philip. She talks about her meat cleaver and what it must feel like to cleave flesh with it. Well, Harrison and Larry talk about things, and it's clear that Harrison is really uncomfortable about the whole arrangement. The guys want to include Harrison in their activities, but Larry thinks Harrison couldn't or wouldn't participate in their things. And then they all start hearing banging again inside the walls, which is odd. And the lights go out, and the banging intensifies. Nico yells, "It worked!" And it all gets pretty hectic, mostly due to the guys flipping out. No one told Harrison that the house is supposed to be haunted, and he's not happy about that.
Might be a good place to stop.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got the gay straight awkwardness, you've got the killer ghost running around, and you don't really know who's... Maybe some people get possessed. It's all very strange.
Yeah.
Well, it was very cool between how they transition between the things happening in the present and what happened in the past in the same room. I mean, it's clear they had like the old-time actors and new-time actors in the same room, but they would cut between them, and it was kind of neat.
Yeah, like they would have one of the guys reach for the meat cleaver on the wall and then pan back, and it's Sylvia reaching, and suddenly you're in the past.
Some neat camera tricks there.
It was really good, really well done.
The characters here are maybe just a little over the top.
A little bit.
But they're all fun, and the basic situation is definitely awkward and uncomfortable. It's got way more gay jokes than scares here, but it's all very well done, and we both definitely liked it.
Mm-hmm.
My second favorite of the week.
Much more heavy on the humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Low body count.
Very, yes. Takes us to The Breach from 2023, directed by Rodrigo Gudino, written by Nick Cutter and Ian Weir, stars Alan Hocko, Emily Alatalo, Natalie Brown, and Wesley French. Hour and 32 minutes. Trailer in the show notes if you have not seen this one. And yeah, you should probably watch the trailer. The trailer didn't look... Actually, I had a pretty good idea where this was going just from the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even with the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely watch the trailer before you invest an hour and a half in this one.
I liked it. Brian did not, as we've mentioned before. Yeah. Well, spoiler free, a bizarrely dead body throws a wrench into the plans of a sheriff who is expecting a quiet finish to his final days before leaving town. He's done here, going to go to the big city and work there. Well, the case takes him and a couple of companions on a path to a Lovecraftian disaster. It starts out strong and does weaken as it goes along. The horror guys are in agreement here on that, but of split opinion on the final judgment, because I kind of liked it and Brian did not like it.
I kind of hated it.
So you're going to have to see it for yourself to decide.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, you should. Yes. If you like the Lovecraftian stuff, the portals and interdimensional monsters and that sort of thing.
If you don't like slow movies that have every single conversation drawn out, stilted dialogue, and bad special effects, then maybe skip it.
But the mystery was building as it went along.
It's not building, it's dragging.
Okay.
We are split on this one.
You'll have to see it for yourself.
Watch the trailer.
That's
all you need.
Give the people a little taste.
We hear ominous music as a canoe drifts downriver, apparently empty. It drifts over to a family picnic where they find something inside and the screaming ensues. Wasn't empty after all.
No, it was not.
Credits roll. Well, the police, Deputy Parks and Chief John Hawkins arrive, and the body is in a condition they've never seen before.
Yeah, the town is so small they've got 2 police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coroner the chief wants is on vacation. I didn't quite understand this. So they bring in Jacob, who kind of knows things.
It was a little bit weird.
Why?
Yeah,
Who's he?
he's like the backup coroner, backup for the coroner guy.
I wasn't really convinced on that.
Okay, yeah, but he knew what he was doing too. They were
Yeah, he
examining
did know what he was doing.
They were examining the body, and
So why didn't they just have him be the coroner?
well, because the coroner was out of town.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Where'd the bones go? John asks. Whatever did this, it wasn't insects or animals, and the corpse has too many fingers. Was this an AI corpse?
Yeah, literally, it's basically a bag of skin and muscles. The bones are all gone, and the guts are all torn up, and yeah,
With too many fingers.
It's a mess. Yeah.
The identification with the body belongs to Cole Parsons, who is a physicist from Oklahoma. Well, he goes to talk to Meg Fulbright, who took Cole Parsons to the cabin in the middle of nowhere. It's her cabin. She rented it out to this guy a few months ago.
I don't know if she owns it. I think she was just a kind of a tour guide, kind of, wilderness guide.
Okay,
I don't know.
It's not important.
I don't think it was her cabin.
Okay.
But she knew of it and knew it well.
Meg and John have a history, but he needs her help. She says Cole brought up a lot of big equipment, but she doesn't know what the man was doing. And these guys had to take a canoe for like 2 hours and then walk up a mountain. Mm-hmm. How did he get heavy Frankenstein equipment up there?
On a cart.
Yeah.
On a sled.
Okay, never mind. We don't want to think too hard. Cole Parsons' daughter went missing a while back, and she's never been found. Linda Parsons, Cole's wife, blamed the disappearance on something that Cole built. John and Meg, along with Jacob, head to the cabin, which is way out in the woods. They hear a strange sound that seems to be coming from everywhere. When they arrive, Meg says that the place looks different, like it's gotten older somehow. It's huge, but kind of looks also like an abandoned shack.
Yeah, it's a full-fledged house, but it's really run down.
Really run down.
Yeah.
They find a strange machine in the basement hooked into the wiring, and in a room upstairs, they find all kinds of weird stuff. Jake keeps getting bitten by bugs, which he finds annoying. Some people are just sweet to bugs.
Yep, he is.
Back in the police station, Deputy Connie Parks Zoom talks to Alex, a doctor who explains particle physics and the Mandela effect. Okay, that was out of the blue. At the weird house, we hear that Jake, John, and Meg are former love triangle that's gotten all dramatic over the years, but now John is planning to leave town.
Yeah,
Actually, this was his last day at work.
And he hadn't planned on even telling Meg, just kind of leaving.
That night, we see a ladder descend from the attic, and something enters Jake's room. Meg and John find a woman in the hallway with a shotgun. She's Linda Parsons, the unstable wife of Cole and the mother of the missing girl. They find Jake in the attic room with all the equipment, but he doesn't remember how he got there or who turned on the machine. Linda and Meg look over the machine, which has a big portal-looking doorway in the middle of it. Oh, that's never good.
No, it isn't.
The machine took her, Linda says. John shows Linda to Cole's crazy room, and she says it doesn't look like Cole's work. All of a sudden, Cole appears outside, very much not dead. When John explains about the body in the canoe, Cole says, "Jeepers, that's terrible." People say that?
Well, he does. But he's being kind of weird and disconnected.
Yeah, he's not quite right.
He doesn't
seem normal.
Yeah. You should leave it there.
Yeah, I think we probably should. Yeah.
Because stuff happens.
The cinematographer and editor went all out trying to make this very talky film more interesting to watch. It was not subtle. A lot of trick shots. I did like that part.
Yeah.
The dialogue, on the other hand, is slow, stretched out, and all seems very unnatural. Like the director said, make this 10-second scene 13 seconds long in every single scene. The music in some scenes feels really inappropriate and a little too overpowering, at least early on. The sets and scenery looks nice, however, and the acting, apart from the dialogue, is pretty good. I'd say the writer and the director did not do their jobs. The actors were okay.
I think maybe there was a little bit of disconnect between the writer and the director. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not even the writer's fault. I think the director just had everything move slowly and lingered too much.
I don't know. He had a vision.
It's slow, it's drawn out, and not particularly original in any way. You know there's a portal in the attic, and you know where that's going to go, and there's not that many surprises here.
Portals are so very seldom good things. You ever notice
Go
that?
to the happy land with this one.
Yeah.
No. It does look good and creates a growing feeling of dread. It starts out nicely atmospheric, but the ending was just atrocious, says me.
Mm-hmm.
Horror guy Kevin liked it a bit more than that.
I did. I would not in any way call it atrocious.
All right.
Kind of liked it.
It's a Lovecraftian portal movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is it for our full talk. But over on horrorbulletin.com, you can read our reviews of, how do you say this name?
Macabre.
Macabre or Macabre?
Macabre.
I don't know. I've never known. You hear different people say it different ways.
Not
Macabre, yeah, Macabre it is.
Just call it Macabre, yeah.
From 1958, directed by William Castle. Stars William Prince, Jim Backus, and Christine White. And this one starts out with a warning. For the next hour and 15 minutes, the audience will be subjected to a terrifying experience. Everyone should keep an eye on those sitting near and notify the management immediately if medical assistance is needed. So you know you're in for a real fright, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good, but it's not exactly what you'd call terrifying. The characters are interesting, a little damaged, and a little quirky, and there's a child in peril with a ticking clock. It was entertaining, and we were still all alive at the end of it.
Yeah, we didn't need medical assistance.
No, we didn't.
No.
It's all right. It's a class. It's one of those old classics with a gimmick from William Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, this was the first of his gimmicky films. He's probably best known for The Tingler, where they had the electric chairs in the theaters.
Would buzz, yeah.
And then we also did Saw 2 from 2005. We did Saw 1 a couple of weeks ago. You could read both of those over there. And this one is a very worthy sequel, taking aspects from the first movie and continuing on with them. It also flashes back to provide more explanation about the events of the first film. It's well made, and if you like Saw, chances are good you'll like Saw 2 as well.
Yeah,
we're doing our rewatches, and we're up to Saw 5 right now, and I gotta say they've all been good.
They've all been pretty good, yeah.
I saw the first Saw movie when it came out. I have not seen any of the newer ones, and so far it still has my interest up to number 5.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen 6.
I want to see the rest.
Oh, we'll see them all.
Okay.
Probably have some 3 and 4 out next week.
Probably.
All right, well, that is it for this week. Tune in over at horrorguys.com to read the reviews, horrorbulletin.com for the newsletter, Horror Guys Shop for the books, or Horror Guys Podcast if you are not subscribed to this podcast. You should be.
Yes.
Because every week is a show like this. Only normally we do 4 movies and a short. And that's all for this year's movies, probably.
Probably, just about.
Next week we'll have some other stuff, but I think they're going to be older movies.
And then pretty soon there will be 2024 movies coming.
Ooh. Actually, we've got a couple of them in our email of screeners that are coming out in January. So we've already got some 2024 movies.
Yeah, we do.
Got to watch them someday.
Got to watch them all.
Probably before the end of the year. Well, that's it for this week. I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.